Hi students, so this video we're just going to be discussing and going over activity 13.2, which is comparing points of view. So what does it mean to compare a point of view? It's just when two different things throughout a passage, there's two different points of views, so two different opinions throughout a story. So let's take a look and see exactly what I mean. So we're going to read these two passages and we're going to see, how these the points of views kind of change. So it says in a couple of things really struck me in that movie. The first was the view of the window of John Glenn's spaceship. The view of the Earth. How beautiful was it on the screen? I wanted to see that view. And then passage B says, and then I actually looked at the Earth. I looked at our planet and I thought, there are billions of people down there, but there's no way I'm going to get a house call on this one. No one can help me. I felt this deep loneliness. I felt detached from the Earth. I felt that I was by myself, and everything I knew and loved and that made me feel comfortable was far away. And then it started getting dark and cold. So you see, it's two different people, two points of views, and two different people speaking about an event that happened. So that's kind of comparing points of view. So let's look at these questions. So it kind of helps us after we read our passage to think about how they compared the points of view. So for number one, it says, what subject is described in both passages? What do you think? So what did they talk about in both passages? If we reread them, we know that they both were talking about a view of the planet of Earth. So as you know, the one person was talking about how he was watching the movie. The other John Glenn was talking about how he looked at from outer space, looking down at the Earth. But they were both talking about the view of the planet of Earth from space. So what is the difference between the author's point of view and the subject in the first passage and his first point of view in the second passage? So in the first passage, the author longs to view Earth from space. So as you read it, he says, the first view out of the window of John's spaceship, the view of Earth, how beautiful it was on the screen. I wanted to see that view. So he kind of has a longing to see what John Glenn saw from his spaceship. He wanted to see that view of the Earth. In the second passage, he does so, but it makes him feel lonely. So in the second passage, he says stuff like, I felt detached from the Earth. I thought I was by myself, and everything I knew and loved made me feel comfortable was far away, and it started to get dark and cold. So even though he was able to see that view of Earth, it kind of reminded him that he kind of missed his family and things that made him feel comfortable. And then three, how is this difference reflected in the author's language? Your answer should include at least one quotation from each passage. So A, the view of the Earth. So A, like we said, in the first passage, he was just astonished and he was just so thrilled and wanted to have that longing of wanting to see that view of the Earth like John Glenn saw from his spaceship. So an example would be the view of the Earth and how he said how beautiful it was. And then it quote that showed that John Glenn was kind of lonely and felt kind of alone was he said, no one on earth can help me. I felt this deep loneliness. I felt detached from the earth. So you see those quotes kind of, again, it's your evidence to your answer to number two. So you always have that, your answer and then the evidence, the quotes from the passage that supports your answers. Okay, so now it's your turn, boys and girls. You're going to read this passage A and B, and you're going to do the same thing we just did together. So you're going to read the passages A and B, and then you're going to have your turn on the next slide to answer these questions. Now, if it gets to a point where you're like, I kind of don't understand what we're supposed to do, or you need clarification, you can rewatch this video and even look at the slides and things that I did to kind of help you. But I know that you can do it. So just take your time, reading as you read, use those think as you read strategies to start thinking and asking questions. And again, watch my video if you have any questions. Okay, so good job, boys and girls. And I hope that you enjoyed this assignment, and I know you're going to do well.